Jardine will just be wondering about whether his team can get a good look at goal to get themselves ahead.
Robbie, you were speaking of your own playing experience earlier and the intimidation factor when you play against Brazil and see the canary yellow jerseys. Of course, on the other side for Mexico, it might bring out the best in Memo Ochoa. Remember the infamous Fortress of Fortaleza game of the World Cup in 2014, playing against Brazil in a 0-0 draw.
There was a lovely conversation going on between Ochoa and Dani Alves when the two captains were at the start of the game, and maybe there was a few reminders of past times. They just need a bit of possession, Mexico, just to settle themselves, build a bit of confidence. Sometimes when you have the ball and you get some passing movements, even if you're not particularly going forward, it settles the team, it settles the nerves, start to gain a little bit of belief in the side. And Jaime Lozano will just want his team to contest possession a little bit better than they are. At the moment, they're pretty well set up in almost like a 4-5-1 formation. It's a low block sitting in their own half.
Knockdown header by Antuna. Taking a tumble is Cordova. The throw is for Brazil. Just saw a look at the referee a moment ago. Georgi Kabakov from Bulgaria. FIFA referee for 8 years. Jeremy Arana. Richarlison. Claudinho dummies it. Got a runner coming up through midfield. Bruno Guimaraes, he's fouled. Free kick in a very, very tasty area for Brazil.
Yeah, it's clumsy from Cordova. Not seen any of the ball in terms of possession, and he's going to have to work hard and chase his runners and block passing lanes without getting frustrated. Brazil have certainly 2 or 3 operators who have their eyes on this kind of free kick from this kind of distance.
There's Guimaraes, plays in France at Lyon. A couple of assists in this tournament.
Dani Alves looks like he's... I suppose when you've got 118 caps, though, you can tell your teammates, leave this one to me.
And nearly his equal in senior caps, Memo Ochoa at 114 for Mexico, shouting his instructions to position the wall.
It'll be about how much Ochoa can see this ball as it's coming over the wall.
Douglas Luiz steps back. But it will be Dani Alves. And Alves through the wall, and what a save by Memo Ochoa. He saw it. Made the reaction, diving to his left. Cross comes back in. And this looks like it hops off Jesus Angulo and will be a corner kick.
Wow, the shot was good. Good power. The save's even better. It's a gain. Ochoa gets a good position. Doesn't try to cheat and doesn't try and read where it might go. He waits for the shot to come through the bodies and again repels it away from danger.
Corner kick. Anthony right in front. Good catch by Ochoa. Couple of solid saves. Command of his 6-yard box so far from Memo Ochoa.
Yeah, just what you need from your experienced goalkeeper. Just a bit of confidence to that back line that you've got somebody behind you who has seen it all, been there before and done it.
At the other end, by the way, his counterpart, one of the overage players for Brazil, goalkeeper Santos, 31 years old. Atletico Paranaense, where he plays in Brazil. I can't recall the last time he's had a touch of the ball.
Yeah.
Everything's been at the other ends.
I think he's had a real shot to save. When you look at Santos, Dani Alves, Diego Carlos in that back five, it's good experience there for Brazil. Something we don't often think about Brazilian defending, but they put a lot of store in defending well. They take a pride in not conceding goals. I always think the Brazilians is attacking and flair and skillful, but there's a defensive physicality and understanding about them as well.
And there's a free kick right now because of Anthony, who's been a lively player for Brazil in the first 25 minutes today. Claudinho. Guilherme Arana. He forced Ochoa into one of the 2 saves he's made in the last 10 minutes. Douglas Luiz, big ball down the right. Taken down nicely by Dani Alves. Cross from Anthony, stepping up for the header. Cesar Montes. As far as Guilherme Arana. Cordova reaches it. Guimarães should wind up. And then deflects back to Ochoa.
Yeah, I think Cordova got caught as the challenge came in. Just in the midfield here. Guimarães just caught him as he followed through to make the challenge. That's some of the physicality I talked about with this Brazilian team, though, that they won't shirk a challenge. The ball's there to be won. They'll go in with full commitment. Slightly frustrating time for Cordova and Romo, who we saw against South Korea. Got on the ball, dictated the play, made things happen for this Mexican team. It's not going to be one of those days today. It's about digging in, it's about chasing the opposition, it's about winning some possession back and trying to get your team going. They're not going to get it easy in that central midfield area. You see the front line from Brazil, how the 3 front men are blocking off any balls into midfield, which means Ochoa's got to do this. He's got to play it longer, and all of a sudden Brazil get the ball back. So that's Brazil defending from the front. That's Brazil starting their tactical play from the front 3, not allowing Mexico to play into midfield.
It was Paulinho who won the ball off the goal kick by Ochoa. Possessed by Brazil. Nino. Center back carries it forward. Esquivel gave it right back. Sent wide by Douglas Luiz. Anthony slips it in. Luiz continues his run. He's trying to draw a penalty. And the question is, did he? We haven't seen what the referees indicated as of yet. He's
quick to whistle. I don't think it's a penalty kick. I've got to be honest, I think Douglas Luiz gets there. Look, puts his body across. It's he who instigates the challenge. It's Esquivel running back towards his goal, and I think he throws himself to the ground. Now, the referee whistled early, which puts him under a little bit of pressure now. What's he whistling for? Is he whistling for the foul in Brazil's favour, which would mean a penalty kick, which it seems he has?
Yes.
So or was it because he's whistled so quickly, he hasn't given himself the chance to look at it and say, actually, Douglas Luiz has thrown himself to the ground, it should be a foul for him. VAR will check the penalty. For me, that's not a penalty kick.
Marco Guida from Italy is the VAR. First time, of course, for anybody who has not been watching the tournament, first time for VAR in the Olympics. And this is a very important check because I agree with your assessment of this. It's abundantly clear Douglas Luiz initiates this contact.
He initiates the challenge there as the two come together. He throws his body into the defender. The referee's going to have a look at this, so it has to be a clear and obvious error. He's given the penalty kick for the decision, so there has to be an error. But there, Douglas Luiz is almost going back into the player. Now, he may argue he's got the position across the ball, but I don't think he has. I think he just looks to get across the Esquivel there and make sure he makes contact. And then you see, look, watch his feet go. Throws his feet into the air as though there's been a contact there, which there wasn't. It's a backward movement here from Douglas Luiz. Why I don't think it's a penalty kick.
No penalty.
Good decision, referee. And now they're saying it should be a yellow card for embellishment. For embellishment by Douglas Luiz. Well, I think they got to the right decision in the end.
Yes.
And that's the credit to VAR. That's when VAR works well. The referee, with his naked eye, thought it was a penalty kick. Gets a chance to have a look at one or two replays, talks to the VAR assistant, and they get it right.
And so we reached the half-hour mark of the game with one of the most important moments so far. Intervention by VAR overturns a penalty decision, rightly so, going their way.
Just have to be careful of his emotions, Richarlison. We've seen him through his career at Watford and at Everton in the English Premier League. Once or twice he just can go over the top, can get caught up with opposition, and he's got one or two red cards, which sometimes a little bit of immaturity's crept into his game. Has to accept sometimes a bit of physicality. Has to accept sometimes that, you know, defenders are going to come in the back of you as a forward. That's what happens.
You in position yet?
Sometimes you have to take that as a compliment that you're the quality
What's
player.
taking so long? I thought you knew this, Lee.
Don't rush me.
We don't have time. I'm
In
going
11
in.
days, Robbie Everton is due to play Southampton. And their Premier League opener, Richarlison, has played World qualifiers in June. Then the duration of the Copa America in June and July, and now in the Olympics. It's going to be tough for him to work his way into the team when he gets back, just from a fatigue standpoint.
Very committed to the national team. He talked about the winning goals here that he'll get to do this season.
Ball into the feet of Richarlison. Reaches it. Keeps the attack going for Brazil. Dani Alves to cross it. A couple of options in the box, but Louronha towers over Claudinho with the defensive header for El Tri Olímpico. Diego Carlos forward. Intercept by Uriel Antuna. Recovered by Paulinho. Bruno Guimaraes. Yemine Arana. A darting run to the left-hand side by Richarlison.
Well, the task for the likes of Montez and Vasquez as centre-backs is that there's so much rotation of movement from the Brazilian forward. So Richarlison doesn't stay central as a number 9. He makes runs wide. The likes of Paulinho, Claudinho will make runs through the centre area. So you've got to always be aware of where the man might come from deep and what position they're coming from. Midfield players, wide players, all that exchanging positions make it so difficult to pick up.
Clearance by Esquivel. Plays at FC Juarez in Mexico. Córdoba, the America player. Coming back, Claudinho for Brazil. Dani Alves. Nino.
Deze coördinaten liggen veel te diep in vijandelijk gebied.
Commandant van je is een idioot.
Er zijn maar 2 soorten mensen op aarde. Jager en prooien. Oorlog dwingt mensen te kiezen, dat is er mooi aan.
Ja, je kan ver komen in het leger door de juiste konten te likken.
Nee, goed!
Dan ga je nooit over wat we hier nou eigenlijk aan het doen zijn.
We zullen zien, hè. Hoe ver die gaat komen als we erachter komen wie hij echt is.
Wat hier gebeurt, heb ik me niet voor ingeschreven. Er is geen weg meer terug, Jan.
Twee mensen, joh. Als jij weet welke van de twee je wil zijn, weet je ook dat dit de enige manier is.
Penalty kick incident that we saw. Again, I think we ended up getting to the right decision. Just that Douglas Luiz almost stood his ground and backed into the defender to make the contact. I think it showed up on one or two of those replays.
Cordova scoops it forward. Chested down by Luis Romo.
The point I was making earlier, Mark, is that sometimes the game almost become too easy for Brazil, and they start getting lazy and take an extra touch and just allow Mexico to get a foot in and break the play up.
Your point was very interesting about they look like they're enjoying how they're playing right now, and that's part and parcel for Brazil. It's not just that you win, it's how you win when you're Brazil.
There's a feel and a rhythm and a style that's important in wearing those yellow shirts.
It's given away here by Diego Carlos. Martin absorbs the foul, wins the free kick.
That's good play, Manu Martin.
And it's a yellow card for Diego Carlos.
Don't be shy of this physicality. I talked about it. Diego Carlos gave the ball away. Has to foul Martin to stop Mexico breaking forward.
Remember that single yellow cards were wiped clean after the quarterfinal. So the only way you would miss a final or a bronze medal game would be by virtue of a straight red or 2 yellow cards sending off in this game.
Maybe a chance for Mexico to give Santos a little bit of work. Pretty much a spectator in his first 37 minutes.
Haven't seen him on camera in 15 or 20 minutes, it feels like. Forgot what he looked like as you just saw him positioning the wall on the free kick.
For all that possession and good play, Brazil still haven't got their goal, and maybe a set piece from Mexico. Just give them a look.
And it's clipped in here looking for the runner. Montes, the center back. He had a diving header. The delivery by Vega.
Well, I think he just gets caught up with the defender there as he goes in for that one.
And Nino ends up with the last touch.
Yeah, Nino and Montes were locked together. Couldn't quite get away from the defender. Looks like he might have just slightly hurt himself as he fell.
So far for Mexico in the tournament for Sebastian.
The game that Mexico would feel they can be dangerous. Set pieces. Likes of Cordova with the delivery. Vega and Antuna. And then they've got good size coming into the box.
Looking for Martin. Jesus Angulo on the throw. Martin absorbed a little contact. Down to Paulinho. Richarlison, of course, drawing all kinds of focus from defenders from Mexico. 2 players running with him. Just a reminder that he's conceded 2 penalties in this tournament as well.
It's a little unfortunate. It just shows there, again, a little lack of experience. You see how he throws his arm and body into Richarlison? And he makes it so obvious. A more experienced defender just goes across there, makes sure they both come together, and then just leans into the attacker and steers him off the ball. Montes almost, his first instinct was, I'm going to barge into their forward. Richarlison knows that's coming, goes down and wins an easy free kick.
And the Rayados player says Montes in the book. We had a yellow card in the group stage that was wiped clean after the quarterfinals. Claudinho, Guilherme Arana stand over this for Brazil. Antuna and Cordova in the wall. Claudinho to take it at the back post. Strong defensive header by Mexico. Pushed a little bit farther forward by Jesus Angulo.
Well, eventually we got to the foul.
There's a big shout for it.
Yeah. Romo with the header and gets caught by Diego Carlos. First, the referee looked like he was going to let play go on. Haven't seen Luis Romo, have we? So influential in that first half against South Korea. A goal and assist and great passing movements to get this Mexico team going forward.
Ochoa restarts play with a big goal kick. Header was won by Martin. But then Brazil back in possession. Robbie, 41 minutes in as we wind down towards the end of the first half. Has anything unfolded today that...
Have a little bit more of a rearguard action. Expected them not to have as much possession, but so far, they've not really had a good look at goal.
Until right now, perhaps, as Santos saves the shot from Luis Romo. Squared to him by Antuna. And Romo, there's his moment of influence.
Well, I thought the commentator's curse was coming as Romo strode forward. This was the Romo we saw in the first half against South Korea, breaking forward, and that's a good save from Santos, who's not had much to do in this first half. He's come up with a good save when it was needed.
Romo had an assist on the first against South Korea in the first half. Scored the second on just a lovely bit of skill in terms of his finish, and then sent a cross into the box, was just about to reach it. I think he wanted advantage played rather than the foul that was whistled against Jesus Angulo.
Well, this is that shot. Romo, first time, it's headed towards the corner. It's probably just within the goalkeeper's range.
And that foul went against Anthony a moment ago, by the way. So free kick for Cordova. Going into the 44th minute of the first half. Mexico and Brazil goals. Well-driven ball by Cordova. Bounced in front of Johan Vasquez. Here's a look at Guilherme Arana. He's had one of the best goal-scoring chances for Brazil.
He almost slipped there, Arana, didn't he? Mexico might say it's a job well done, despite Brazil having so much possession in the first half, that they can go in 0-0 at half-time. 10-15 minutes in the get into the second half, maybe make one or two changes.
And a real coming together. Richarlison down. Flick that first ball.
Yeah, he won the first ball, and Montez again comes in. That's one of those accidental where both players are committed to the ball. The active flicking it on, Richarlison caught Montez, and they hurt. Can they afford to lose Richarlison? Talked about Cunha and his quality in the attacking third. It's not available for them today. Richarlison looks like he's okay.
5 goals, leading goal scorer on the men's side of the bracket.
A really good assist last time out against Egypt as well. He got to the edge of the box and picked out Cunha for a lovely finish.
Had 2 against Saudi Arabia. Hat-trick in the first 30 minutes against Germany.
And certainly he's been the go-to guy for Brazil.
5 of their 8 goals. Paulinho has 1. And the injured Matheus Cunha has the other 2.
Only 3 goal scorers. Mexico 7.
Yes.
Of their 14 goals.
Most goals so far in the tournament by Mexico.
Really seen that kind of danger and that kind of threat from Mexico so far, but done a defensive job, rearguard action in those first 45 minutes, and Jaime Lozano will be pleased to get his team in.
Maybe one last chance, a race to it. Cordova beat Nino. The last attack of the first half will be for Mexico. It comes into Antuna right in front and closed down by Santos. Oh, there was so much goal to shoot at for Uriel Antuna, and a reaction by Santos in the end.
That's probably the best chance of the game, and you see it beat Santos.
It's Diego Carlos in the end.
Diego Carlos, who's coming behind his goalkeeper, but excellent defending. Having started the game a little bit on the back foot, certainly Mexico are finishing with real threat.
Well, the clean sheet almost went bye-bye at the very end of the first half for Brazil. One last chance. Corner kick coming from Vega. And a little wide, that header steered by Henry Martin. And the first half is over. It ended, though, with Mexico getting a goal-scoring chance. Antuna was denied. Then Martin's header is wide. And it is 45 minutes into the first of the two men's semifinals of the day at Kashima Stadium. After 45 minutes, Mexico and Brazil are 0-0.
Today's game is being presented to you with limited commercial interruption by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Dude, you have a serious doll problem. If you only knew.
Creepy doll just creeps me out.
This is the FedEx Cup playoffs. This is the chance to make a name and etch it in silver next to the greatest. The FedEx Cup playoffs for the PGA Tour's ultimate prize.
It's fun to go fast.
She's going to do it!
Fly high.
Wow.
Show everyone just how strong you are.
Here's Guillermo Arana.
Stretching Mexico.
Got another chance with
his commitment and his attitude as well during this tournament. Spin out
tournament on the men's side. Big games. Silver.
Mine too. Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Sunday on NBCSN.
Gonna get loud.
Mario, I love loud. Girls 5 Eva has a little heat.
I feel weird. Is it a mini stroke? No, it's joy. We have songs. We have buzz.
I've had 3 Negronis.
Did you just whisper Negronis?
I don't know the history of the word. I was thinking of adding a whoa right before cram it wherever.
My DMs are filthy. I can't even open them up on the train.
So what are you waiting for? Girls 5
team, it's still 0-0.
Okay, well, we will wait to see. Robbie, thank you. We'll let you hustle back to that commentary booth and look forward to listening to you because the second half of Brazil, Mexico is coming up in just a moment.
Diverse thinking leads to more unexpected, more thoughtful solutions.
Yes, what I'm saying is people like options. I mean, you take Geico, you can call them anytime you feel like saving money. It don't matter, day or night. Use your computer, your smartphone, your tablet, whatever. The point is, you have options. Crab cakes. What are you looking at?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We've got a problem, America. Junk sleep.
It's what you get from a bed that isn't right for you. Keep calling Kevin Keith. Junk sleep.
Left your laptop on the bus. Junk sleep. Can't straight think? Slug Jeep. What you need is real sleep. So maybe it's time to ask yourself, did you get out of the wrong side of bed this morning? Or the wrong bed altogether? Mattress Firm. Unjunk your sleep.
Hello. I'm the new guy. Tell me about this epic stuffed crust pizza.
It's made with fresh, never frozen dough. Hand stuffed with cheese.
Good job. All right, you called me. It is me.
I knew it was you.
Let me hear you say epic stuffed crust. Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin.
Excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Today's game is being presented to you with limited commercial interruption by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
We are waiting for the second half kickoff of Brazil and Mexico in the semifinals of the men's Olympic football tournament. Kashima Stadium for the first semifinal. And later on, Spain and Japan will play for the right to meet the winner of this game for the gold medal of the 2020 Tokyo Games. Going into it, how are the teams feeling? From the Mexico side of things, Sebastian Cordova said, Brazil's a team of respect. They have great players. They're always there, close to winning something. But we are made for these games. When we play them, we do it well, and the best comes out of each of us. We came for the gold, and what better way than to crown ourselves in this tournament by beating Brazil first and then Spain. From Brazil's side, Andre Jardinet, their manager, said, I treat Mexico-Brazil as a great world derby, two very traditional squads with an offensive style. Mexico always has a strong squad. At the World Cup, we faced them in a difficult match, and we recently had a final of the Under-17 World Cup against Mexico. This is definitely a derby. Brazil with a better team, better scoring chances, more possession, but Mexico with a couple of key saves from Memo Ochoa, keeping a clean sheet through 45 minutes. Santos in goal for Brazil. Got called into action twice late in the first half, denying Luis Romo and getting help from one of his defenders, Diego Carlos, to stop a shot by Uriel Antuna in the dying moments of the first half. Antony, lively player for Brazil in the first 45 minutes of the game. And his role important. So as we start the second 45 minutes, here's the first lineup change by Jaime Lozano. Sub Charlie Rodriguez at that spot in midfield for Mexico. Second half kicks off. Rodriguez goes in. Esquivel comes out of the game. Esquivel had to start the last game because of a red card for Charlie Rodriguez in the last game of the group for Mexico, a 3-0 win against South Africa. Bad time to get a red card. 20 minutes left in a game that you need 3-0, but it all worked out okay in the end as Martin starts out the second half immediately, stinging a shot in the direction of Santos, and the Brazilian keeper, routine save in the end.
Good intention from Mexico, though. Maybe a little foreshadow into what might come in this second half, and I like the change in midfield. Charlie Rodriguez, who missed the last game through suspension, and Esquivel did particularly well, but I just feel that Romo now is going to sit in the deepest line midfield role. He's brave, he'll get on the ball, he'll have the ball from the centre-backs and start the build-up play. And then Rodriguez and Cordova can start to push forward and connect with the attack. I think it's a good move by Lozano.
Coming through midfield, Guimarães, shoved off the ball by Cordova. Dani Alves, Antony. Got inside of Jesus Angulo. Crossfield ball. Defensive touch put in by Uriel Antuna. Then headed forward by Guilherme Arana. Continues his run, Paulinho. Loses it. Out of play to Mexico for a throw-in. So obviously, you just said you were a fan of the lineup change with the sub being made, Esquivel going out, Charlie Rodriguez coming in. What's the rest of the equation, the path to a goal in this game for Mexico?
Well, all of a sudden with Rodriguez and Romo will almost play as side by side. But Mexico now have two bodies they can hit when they build up from the back. And by going into midfield and then linking into the forwards, that means they're not having to go from front to back and often losing possession.
Long ball by Dani Alves to Paulinho. Lays it back to the arriving Bruno Guimarães. Dani Alves, 38-year-old captain. Well-struck ball into the box by Douglas Luiz. Skimmed off the head of Richarlison.
Yeah, lovely first-time ball by Luiz. He's just hitting it into a good area, and Richarlison can't get the contact he'd like to steer it on goal. Clever play from Douglas Luiz. He almost hits that ball knowing that a teammate will there. He hasn't looked up and picked somebody out. It's a matter of just playing the ball in a good area.
Arana.
See, now you've got two midfield players in there. I don't know why Mexico are going from front to back so quickly. Because now you've got two bodies who you can play through in midfield. They've got to be brave. You've got to take a gamble. And bravery's not always just going in for physical challenges and winning the ball. Bravery's sometimes going in, accepting the ball when it's tight, accepting the ball in difficult circumstances, and building and working your way out of it.
Possession now for Brazil, the Group D winners. One of the most important moments of the first half, if you missed it, was a VAR penalty decision. It was given in the run of play for a foul by Esquivel against Douglas Luiz, and then rightly changed. If you thought Noera Penal and Arjen Robben and Rafa Marquez from the World Cup in 2013 was a thing, this really would have been a thing had that penalty decision stood.
Absolutely, and it's not often we say it, but we should. Well done, VAR. It's got to the right decision in such an important game. That's why it was brought into football. We often talk about the negative things and criticise it, but moments like that, it absolutely stands up for itself. Temper's getting a little bit flared in midfield. Jimenez just getting body checked by Cordova. From Mexico's point of view, as a coach, I think you'd be happier with that now they're starting to get to terms, get to grips with the challenge. Not standing on ceremony, not looking at the yellow shirts and thinking about the great names.
Cordova hasn't been shy about that today in terms of putting in hard challenges. That's not the first time we've seen the body check from Cordova. Paulinho, a starter today, rather than Mateus Cunha, who's injured. Claudinho couldn't reach it. Charlie Rodriguez, he's taken out. Rodriguez, a player at Monterrey and Rayados.
Yeah, he's lively. Rodriguez, confident in his ability. Here he's going for the overhead kick to clear the ball. Slightly elaborate, but he's fouled on his way. But he'll bring a bit of life and personality to that midfield. I think they were missing in the first half.
A look at the managers. First, Jaime Lozano. Then Andre Jardinet for Brazil. Former Sao Paulo manager.
I think both these coaches would have expected to get to this stage. Now it's about going that next step and getting into the final and winning that gold medal.
As you see Memo Ochoa, he was caught on camera talking to his teammates after the last group stage game, and he said, at that point, we're one game away from smelling the medals. We have to be humble, down to earth, remain focused as we play today, speaking after that group stage finale against South Africa. Nobody beats us. The aroma of medals certainly getting stronger for Memo Ochoa and Mexico. Who's going to get the vital breakthrough here in the second half? Back by Vasquez. Both keepers officially at 3 saves in the game. Possession favoring Brazil, almost 60-40. Dani Alves for Brazil into the 53rd minute of the game. Luis Ramos stood him up, the Cruz Azul midfielder. Richarlison reaches it. Richarlison goes down, edge of the area. Cleared by Romo. To Vega. Vega dispossessed by Douglas Luiz. He's got to get back into the play. Wide ball to Guilherme Arana. Can't keep it in play.
Well, they've got a real appetite to win the ball back, Brazil, and And there's a coming together of players, but again, Romo on Richarlison for me, not enough in that. Not enough in that in terms of a penalty kick.
Rodriguez to Henry Martin. Martin taken down, waved off by Georgi Kabakov, the referee from Bulgaria. Anthony for Brazil. Bronze medal 2008, silver medal 2012, gold medal 2016. Brazil trying to make it 4 straight Olympics with a medal around their neck in the men's soccer tournament. They're going to play for one. Will it be gold or silver or a chance for bronze? Great chance here. Claudinho, oh, it just caught at his feet on that lovely curled-in ball by Douglas Luiz. But the sister referee's offside flag has eventually come up.
It's a beautiful ball played through, and he just goes a little early. There wasn't a lot in and out, but I think he's just ahead of that last defender. Douglas Luiz with the pass, and Claudinho not able to take it with him on his path, but he was just ahead of the last defender.
Long ball looking for Cordova. Santos has it. Saw Jesus Angulo do it in a replay. Something defenders still do, raise their arm up in the air, but VAR will handle that now. You've got to keep on playing.
Yeah, play it through to its final conclusion and then wait for VAR to step in. Difficult for defenders who for years have been used to getting their hand up and waiting for the flag to go, and got to change habits, change the rhythms, and just run back and defend the situation.
Here comes Guimarães. He's played well in midfield throughout the tournament for Brazil. Look at passing accuracy, key passes. He's been productive.
There's our man, Diego Lainez.
The Real Betis player getting ready, Robbie.
Wondered how long it would be before we saw him. That's what was suggested. Maybe an hour on the clock, 60 minutes on the clock, and you unleash him. He was probably the star name, certainly one of the first names on the team sheet when Mexico came into this competition, but it hasn't really gone well for him. Batuna's done particularly well in this right-hand side when he's played, and Lainez has found himself on the outside.
And they flip-flopped after it was Lainez starting at right wing and Antuna coming on as his replacement in the first 2 games. Uriel Antuna has been the starter. Lainez, the sub on the right wing in the last 2. Lost by Douglas Luiz. Luis Romo. Alexis Vega into the feet of Martin. A lay back to Vega. Vega on the move, angling to the right. Vladimir Laroña. The Tijuana right back.
Really seen much of Vega or Antuna in that last third, attacking fullbacks. Been a little bit passive today, both the wide players.
Angulo up the left side. No chance to link up with Cordova. It has not hurt them yet, but Mexico doing something today that they've done all tournament long, and that's concede fouls and free kicks. 17 fouls per match averaged in the first 4 games, the most of any team in the men's tournament. 11 so far today.
Interesting to see the possession stats in the second half, though. 42% for Mexico, 58% for Brazil. Means they are contesting possession better. That doesn't look offside to me there. It looked like the fullback was, Angulo was playing him on Richarlison.
.42 goals across all competitions in 3 seasons at Everton for Richarlison. Top scorer of this tournament. 5 goals in the group stage. Played all 7 games of Copa America for Brazil. Played in World Cup qualifiers before that as well.
Quite got their passing movements back to the levels they were in the first half, Brazil. A lot of long balls, high balls. It's been slower possession when they've gone through the build-up stages.
Had the last touch for Brazil. Mexico have 4 more subs they can make. They made 1 to start the half. Carlos Rodriguez, Charlie Rodriguez went in. Joaquin Esquivel went out. 3 substitution windows. Remember, that does not count as one of your substitution windows when you make a change to start the half. This is a free kick. Nino not real happy about it.
You can see his hands around the neck of the centre forward. You're not going to get away with that. So it's a little frustration coming into the Brazilian game. The 2 players unhappy with decisions, with the referee, sort of shaking their head. Things aren't quite playing out as they would like at the moment.
The ball is not too far from the location from which Cordoba, early in the second half against South Korea, curled in a fantastic ball that found the head of Henry Martin for a goal in the second half of the last game. Is a similar delivery coming. He curls it in nicely, but there aren't any runners for Mexico near it. Cleared by Guilherme Arana. Launched it in the direction of Claudinho.
You're right, Mark. There was very few people who went to attack that ball. It was put in a good area and in around the 6-yard box. Most of the green shirts were standing and watching.
A shot by Romo into the back of Bruno Guimaraes.
Mexico might feel they've, with 60 minutes coming up on the clock, done a good job of slowing Brazil down. There's less threat coming now. There's less pace and intensity to their play.
To follow up on a thought that you had in the first half, it doesn't seem like they're enjoying themselves. They're not expressing themselves in the same way they were in the first half.
Absolutely. You have to credit Mexico for that.
Vega coming in from Vega. Santos comes for it.
Well, for a moment, I thought he'd misread that one, Santos. His experience has got him in a good line to take the ball.
And then distributes quickly, pushes play to the other end. Switch of play by Paulinho. Leaping forward, Dani Alves. Deflection on the cross off Jesus Angulo. Corner kick, Brazil. A chance to add an Olympic medal to the record 43 trophies won in world football for Dani Alves. At 38 years old, again, he's played every minute of these games. Whips it across.
There's a little frustration coming into the Brazilian game. The 2 players unhappy with decisions, with the referee, sort of shaking their head. Things aren't quite playing out as they would like at the moment.
The ball is not too far from the location from which Cordoba, early in the second half against South Korea, curled in a fantastic ball that found the head of Henry Martin for a goal in the second half of the last game. Is a similar delivery coming. He curls it in nicely, but there aren't any runners for Mexico near it. Cleared by Guilherme Arana. Launched it in the direction of Claudinho.
You're right, Mark. There was very few people who went to attack that ball. It was put in a good area and in around the 6-yard box. Most of the green shirts were standing and watching.
A shot by Romo into the back of Bruno Guimaraes.
Mexico might feel they've, with 60 minutes coming up on the clock, done a good job of slowing Brazil down. There's less threat coming now. There's less pace and intensity to their play.
To follow up on a thought that you had in the first half, it doesn't seem like they're enjoying themselves. They're not expressing themselves in the same way they were in the first half.
Absolutely. You have to credit Mexico for that.
Vega coming in from Vega. Santos comes for it.
Well, for a moment, I thought he'd misread that one, Santos. his experience. Just got him in a good line to take the ball.
And then distributes quickly, pushes play to the other end. Switch of play by Paulinho. Leaping forward, Dani Alves. Deflection on the cross off Jesus Angulo. Corner kick, Brazil. A chance to add an Olympic medal to the record 43 trophies won in world football for Dani Alves. At 38 years old, again, he's played every minute of these games. Whips it across. Strong header out by Henry Martin. Guimarães. Claudinho, 1v1 against Romo. Almost 61 minutes played. A sliver of space to cross it. Player goes down to the 6-yard box, and that is a foul, Brazil. Diego Carlos went down.
Good play from Paulinho in the wide areas. He goes past Romo and clips the ball into the box, but it's good defending initially from Mexico. Diego Carlos is just trying to get into the back of things.
Here comes Diego Lainez. And as we play in the 62nd minute of the game, Mexico is making their second substitution. A like-for-like change. Lainez for Uriel Antuna. And Jaime Lozano looking for a spark from the young Real Betis player in this 0-0 game in the semifinals between Mexico and Brazil. Looking to move on to the gold medal game to play against either pre-tournament favorite Spain or host nation Japan. That will be the next semifinal.
How his team could do with the real Diego Lainez stepping forward. Haven't really seen that in this competition, but he's a talent. Can run with the ball, got low centre of gravity, changes direction really well, plays off the left foot, coming inside. Make things happen. His team need him.
Play restarted by Memo Ochoa, one of the 3 overage players for Mexico. Eligibility for this tournament, born January 1st, 1997 or after. It's a U23 tournament this year since the games have been delayed a year. And then the 3 overage players. Goalkeeper Santos, center back Diego Carlos, right back Dani Alves, the overage players for Brazil. And a bevy of very talented young players, many of whom have already made the move to Europe.
You don't say that very often, but a miscontrol from Brazilian. It's Antony as the ball came to him and ends up finding Angulo. See the ball just gets away from him on his first touch. Not an awful lot of contact there, but he does catch the Mexican player.
Antony on a yellow card now. Just a reminder that single yellow cards were expunged after the quarterfinals. There's the Arsenal player, Gabriel Martinelli, about to go in. Just a couple of brief appearances in the group stage for him against Cote d'Ivoire and Saudi Arabia. Just a total of 22 minutes, but the depth chart has changed with Cunha's injury for Brazil. So Martinelli in place to come on here for the last 25 minutes or so.
You just get the sense that Brazil might need it, a little spark, somebody to ignite those front players.
They've looked at Richarlison for the spark throughout this tournament.
There can be an over-reliance on one individual at times. These goals are there for all to see, but he needs help and support from teammates. Cunha missing as a blow. Those two like playing together. Paulinho and not really got in the game in the same manner. Looked to have the same kind of telepathy that those two played with.
Lainez lost it. Guilherme Arana brought it forward. Dani Alves coming centrally. Paulinho couldn't reach it. Laronya puts in an important challenge. Guilherme Arana was racing up that left-hand side. Laronya wanted back. Lainez still going. Paulinho tracking back for Brazil. See Martinelli getting ready to go in. It appears Paulinho will be the player that he is replacing. Antony coming forward. Got a chance for a sight of goal. Routine save by Memo Ochoa. Cut it on the left foot to take Angulo out of the play, but Ochoa denies Antony.
Yeah, good pace initially from Antony. Problem he had that he ran away from the fullback Angulo, but it was on his right foot and he didn't really want to take it, so then he has to go back inside onto his left foot, his favoured left foot, and there's no real angle to shoot. It's one of the disadvantages of playing a left-footed player on the right-hand side. If he goes on the outside of that fullback, he's then onto his weaker right foot, and you're not going to get the quality into the box.
The Bayer Leverkusen player, Paulinho, goes out. And it's Gabriel Martinelli going in. This is Brazil's first substitution. 4 remaining, 2 windows left, and then, of course, you have the possibility of an extra sub and extra time. If we reach that, concussion subs as well. There is concussion protocol and an opportunity to make a substitute. That comes into play.
Difficult time for Paulinho. Quite settle into the game. Haven't seen him that involved. Martinelli, a real talent. Seen glimpses of that in the red of Arsenal over the last season.
Alexis Vega on the move for Mexico. Vega was slowed up by Douglas Luiz. Guimaraes. Guilherme Arana, first touch of the ball coming now for Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli driving at the back line. Fresh legs in on the left wing for Brazil. Martin nudged off to the right side by Guimaraes, give it away to Angulo.
This is where Mexico should look to hurt Brazil when they win the ball back in transition. Break quickly, get numbers forward.
Cordova from Vega, first time cross rolls in. Booted right back up by Diego Carlos.
That's good positions, Carlos, when the ball's in the wide area. Knows where to position himself to have an eye on the forward, but also be able to clear the danger. It's a good foil for Nino, the younger, more experienced centre-back playing with him.
After the Henry Martin foul, play restarts for Brazil. Laronya defending. Martinelli. The last 2 gold medal winners of the Olympics looking for a spot in the gold medal game. Winners in 2012, Mexico against Brazil in that very final game. And then Brazil winners against Germany in the gold medal game 5 years ago. Penalty kicks. Neymar the last one. The Borussia Dortmund player, Akhir, is about to go into the game. 19 years old. He's come on as a sub 3 times so far in the games. And there he is. Played in the Olympic qualifying tournament in 2020, the CONMEBOL Under-23s. As Brazil and Argentina secured spots in this tournament. Argentina bowed out after the group stage. Spain and Egypt were the top 2 teams from that group, and Argentina and Australia went home. Brazil winners of a group with Côte d'Ivoire, Germany, and Saudi Arabia. Mateus Cunha wishing he could be out with his teammates today, but the two-time goal scorer in these games out with injury. 70 minutes played. Still looking for the first goal, Mexico and Brazil. Ochoa will put his foot through it. Luis Romo trying to take it down. Martinelli. Anthony looking for the return ball. Martinelli going to cross it. Johan Vasquez cleared. It's a handball shout. Guimarães into Claudinho. Richarlison not fouled. Lainez almost took it right back into Richarlison. Header won by Nino. Fell for the center back, Cachorro Montes. Now Lainez fouled.
Game's gone a little scrappy. The two challenges going in the central midfield areas. Just what the Brazilians were looking for, the foul, the handball there. Guimarães in on Lainez. Looks like he's put a little marker on him to slow Lainez down. He's a midfield player that Brazilian teams all have. Guimarães, the enforcer. Very tactically smart, technically good, but will put their foot in. Think of Fabinho at Liverpool and Fernandinho at Manchester City. Players who have got good size and good physicality and let people know they're around.
Here comes Akhir from Borussia Dortmund. He's there on loan over 2 seasons, one of them already done, on loan from Real Madrid. Claudinho will go out. Of course, there's still one more game to play for both of these teams. One of them will be in a gold medal game, the other in a bronze. Spain and Japan on the other side of the bracket.
I just wonder, it's an important point you say one's going to go for the silver and gold and one will be for the bronze. Just wonder whether that's starting to get into the heads of one or two of the players, playing with a little bit more caution now, a little bit more fear that one mistake or one bad pass, one miscontrol could be the difference. Brazil certainly aren't expressing themselves the same. Mexico must become a little bit more passive despite making a couple of changes.
Romo restarts play, fouled. And Guimarães and Lainez exchange words.
Well, it was those two involved in the foul a little while ago, and Lainez is going to get himself a yellow card.
Guimarães got himself one a moment ago.
Well, it's that trailing hand catches the fullback.
Well, it wasn't quite like the Matt Miazga-Diego Lainez standoff in the past, but Guimarães stepping in with a little bit of intimidation.
Nothing wrong with that as long as he stays in control.
You were speaking about Guimarães a moment ago. He's got one senior cap for Brazil, played a World Cup qualifier last year against Uruguay. Speaking to the depth of the program for Brazil, they put together a team that's going to challenge and have a chance to win a medal in the Olympics that only has 5 players with senior national team caps. They do have players who have been called in and sat on the bench in World Cup qualifiers and never played.
It's getting a bit touchy out there.
It is, very much so.
2 players getting involved. Just need to stay in control. Talked about it before. It's okay to be competitive, but you've got to keep a lid on it.
Martinelli is the player who went down, and then Richarlison, among many others, getting involved. Johan Vasquez for Mexico. Memo Ochoa trying to come in and play peacemaker. Oh, Vladimir Laronia and Akhir.
Yeah, and then Richarlison steps in to protect his teammate, and then all of a sudden it's pushing and shoving, and everybody's having their say. The referee's originally going to give the free kick, I think, for the first foul. Akhir.
The competitiveness rising, the tempers rising, the nerves quite likely rising.
As the stakes are rising and everybody starts to realise what this next 15 minutes play could be. Are we going to get a goal in the next 15 minutes before we go to extra time?
30 minutes of extra time. If the level score line isn't broken at that point, then of course penalty kicks. Both Laronia and Akhir for Mexico and Brazil, respectively, receive yellow cards. Lainez was shown one a moment ago. Guimarães for Brazil. Georgi Kabakov, the referee, has been very busy in that regard, taking names here in the second half. The referee from Bulgaria. Antony was yellow carded earlier in the half as well. Cesar Montes in the first half for Mexico. Diego Carlos in the first half for Brazil. Montes a header out. Diego Lainez lifts it up the right-hand side. Charlie Rodriguez trying to take it down. Akhir wins the ball back for Brazil. The game is now in the 78th minute. Semi-final, Brazil and Mexico, still goalless. Looking for a chance to play for the gold medal against either Spain, the pre-tournament favorites, or Japan, the host nation. Antony, after 78 hard minutes, putting everything into that effort to try to keep it in play. 2 short substitution appearances in the Olympics for Angulo so far.
To get on the ball and dictate left and right foot, very technically gifted.
Cordova, the top scorer in the CONCACAF qualifying tournament earlier this year in Guadalajara, had 4 goals. Was looking to reach 4 goals in the Olympics today after 1 in the group and then 2 against South Korea. But that 4th goal, Ricardo Angulo.
He's been good today, Vasquez. Been a little bit critical of him in a couple of the games, some of his decisions and his positional play, but he looked really focused and defended well against Richarlison and co.
Chasing after it, Henry Martin. Coming back is Guillermo Arana, and his effort to get back is rewarded with a foul against Martin.
The game's listed with fouls, which breaks up the rhythm. Probably makes it more of a Mexico-type game than a Brazil game. Brazil haven't got the fluency. In the second half, have not been anywhere near the same control they had.
Noted earlier, Mexico's fouling per game more team than anybody in the Olympics. 15 today, 17 is their average. There's a turn and drive up the right side by Antony. Jesus Angulo able to reach him, a little contact.
It's good defending. Angulo went stride for stride. They had a bit of body contact, and Antony who goes to ground. Good play from the fullback. So in a foot race, Antony's probably quicker. Angulo's used his experience.
Atlas says Jesus Angulo has played well today. His first start in the knockout stage. He started 1 game in the group. Filled in nicely for Jorge Sanchez, the America player, formerly of Santos Laguna and his hometown of Torreon. Sanchez will be back for whatever the next game is for Mexico, bronze or gold. Both teams 5 shots today. Mexico right on their number. 5 shots, 3 on target through the first 4 games. 50 shots, 30 on target. Gabriel Martinelli. Robbie, we move into the last 9 minutes of normal time, and however much stoppage time will be added. Who's going to crack? Dani Alves lofts it in. Header forward by Douglas Luiz. Back to Dani Alves from Guimarães. Anthony. Angulo defending. Cut it in on the left foot. Anthony once again. Dani Alves looking for Richarlison. Richarlison, a header off the post. He's got a chance for a follow-up. He smashes it across the face of goal. And no connection for Brazil. Richarlison that close to what may very well have been a winner that launches Brazil to the gold medal game.
Well, we talked about him being the main man. And yet again, he nearly came up trumps for Brazil. And from Mexico's point of view, a bit of luck might just be what they needed.
You could see Ochoa racing after it, couldn't get across. But his best friend.
The ball hits the inside of the post and could easily have rebounded it into the goal, but it comes out to safety at an angle that Richarlison couldn't do anything with the ball that came across. It's that close.
It was a great header off the cross by Richarlison.
Beautifully guided, just skimmed off the top of his head towards the far post. Mexico survive. They may say their hard work and their determination has deserved something. They got that bit of luck when they needed it.
Corner kick, Dani Alves, and another header right to Ochoa this time. He didn't need a post. Routine save off the attempt.
So Dani Alves cross, he's on the near post with Richarlison. He runs, he uses his neck muscles to steer the ball. A little bit more than I thought. He has to put a little bit of power and direction into it. And he thinks he's just nicked it inside that post. He's inches away from giving Brazil the lead and possibly a foot into the finals.
That last shot was Diego Carlos. Ricardo Angulo, who came on a moment ago, is down. On the right-footed challenge of Dani Alves. Dani Alves came back to Brazil after his last European stop at PSG in 2019, playing for his beloved Sao Paulo. And here is a header off the corner kick. Last second it fell for Montes, but drilled directly to Santos, the Brazilian keeper. The break is on the other way. Mexico dropping numbers in behind the ball. Martinelli coming centrally. Still going. Gabriel Martinelli, the Arsenal player. To Anthony in space on the right side. Left-footed cross. Header beaten away by Laronia. Now this is going to fall. Top of the box. Heinier was trying to bring it down. Dani Alves. We've gone into the 86th minute of the game. Brazil and Mexico still goalless. Swept in by Guimarães. A little block put in by Mexico. A long, hopeful ball launched in the direction of Henry Martin. Chasing back Diego Carlos. And shut the door on that solo run and hope for a goal-scoring opportunity for Martin.
Things look quite lively. Martinelli coming on that left-hand side. He's going to drive infield on his right foot this time and try and play combinations with the strikers and midfield players. Dani Alves urging his teammates on.
In the under-23 era of the men's Olympic tournament, there has not been a semi-final goalless after regulation or extra time. A 0-0 90 minutes is not too far out in front of these teams. Vega into the feet of Lainez. Charlie Rodriguez. Rodriguez, a lane to cross it. Header out to Alexis Vega. Tried to bait Richarlison into a foul. And Martinelli again on the break. Chasing after him, Luis Romo. Martinelli went down too easily. No foul on the challenge from Romo.
The referee is letting this game play. Gets good positions, the referee. He's really close to the action to get a good look at things, and he's generally got most stuff right.
Antony showing off his dance moves on the step-overs. Dani Alves. Arana, the left back crosses it in and falls on the top netting.
Disappointing end. This was the Romo challenge. You can see very little contact. There was a little coming together with the players, but the referee had a good position and allowed play to go on. In a relaxed manner, the referee doesn't get too worked up with things. Somehow the game to play if he can.
The referee is from Bulgaria, Georgi Kabakov.
Done a good job, not got much wrong, and the one decision he called, an important decision, that penalty when Douglas Luiz went down. Got a bit of help with VAR and got that one right in the end as well.
Now, very near the half-hour mark, there was a penalty awarded, but Marco Guida, the Italian video assistant referee, intervened, and after going to the monitor, Kabakov changed his mind. Rightly so. Guimaraes turning away from Charlie Rodriguez. 89th minute of the game. Any goal now would likely be a winner.
Yeah, Brazil just looking to find them one last chance, one last opportunity in that 18-yard box.
The last best chance in the 18-yard box was Richarlison. Alves delivers the ball to him. And with Luis Romo right there, not able to get the contact he wanted, pulls right to Ochoa.
Yeah, well done, Luis Romo. Saw the run and went from the edge of the box all the way with Richarlison and made sure he got the block. Took all the pace off the ball. Good play from the experienced midfield player. I actually think getting to 90 minutes and into extra time at 0-0 is probably more of a compliment to Mexico than to Brazil. Certainly in the way the game started, the first 45 minutes, Brazil looked like they were going to brush Mexico aside, but it's not been the case. Second half's been a lot more even. Mexico have done a good job of breaking the rhythm of the Brazilian play through being well set up once or twice, some tactical fouls.
On the big switch of play, Cesar Montes hit a ball in the direction of that diagonal for Ricardo Angulo. And we have reached 90 minutes. Extra time will be 3 minutes tacked on to the 90. "30 more minutes growing increasingly likely." We have seen some dramatic stoppage time goals in the knockout stage. Ivory Coast went ahead 2-1, as a matter of fact, on a 91st minute goal against Spain. And not more than 2 minutes later, on some very unfortunate defending, Spain equalized. Pushing down by Dani Alves. Akhir. Richarlison lets it roll by Anthony. Lunging tackle put in by Jesus Angulo.
Done well, Angulo. I thought Sanchez would be a big miss for Mexico. He's played it right back or left back. Jorge Sanchez, but Angulo's done well.
Days over for Alexis Vega. And coming on in second half stoppage time is Roberto Alvarado. The 22-year-old Viejo Alvarado from Guanajuato. Plays at Cruz Azul. Had a goal against Japan. There's a cross that comes in. Guillermo Arana chasing it. For Alvarado, just his third appearance. All as a substitute in these games. Martinelli trying to take it back from Laronia. Chance late here. Ochoa comes out, got the block in on the shot attempt by Akhir. And Memo Ochoa reaches it and distributes quickly on the right-hand side.
Well, again, it was that man, Luis Romo, was in the right place at the right time. Just his football IQ gets him in really good spots. He reads the danger. Because watch as they skip away here. Keep your eye on the number 7. There, gets a good position on the 6-yard box. He knows the winger's going to cut the ball back. Great defending.
It would appear maybe the last chance will be for Mexico. Down goes Alvarado. Well, coming together with Douglas Luiz, who of course was the player Robbie noted a moment ago that was part of the penalty decision that was changed by VAR in the first half. Dani Alves. One last hope. Overhits it, looking for Akhir. And that, friends, is the end of normal time. Brazil and Mexico playing for a spot in the gold medal game. They can't settle it after 90. So 30 minutes of extra time and maybe penalties coming up next.
Today's game is being presented to you with limited commercial interruption by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Peacock streaming new comedies. Your favorite comedies, exclusives, and originals. Treat yourself. You can't not laugh. Streaming now.
It's fun to go fast.
She's going to do it.
Fly high.
Wow.
Show everyone just how strong you are. But getting started on what you want to become can sometimes be the hardest part. Sports Engine is the one-stop parents need to get their kids into action. Just enter your sport and location, and everything you need is conveniently clickable. Sport guides, camps, clinics, and more. When your child wants to play, Sports Engine gives you the power to make it happen.
They say running is the lonely sport. That when you run alone. But when I run for Trelawney. I run for Jamaica. Their beliefs run with me. Their spirit and their hopes run with me. And the more that joined, the faster we became. When you're the fastest man alive, people think you leave the world behind. But when you run together, the world...
Game and the conversation seemed to be very cordial and lighthearted. Obviously, there's a... Well, there are some smiles. Maybe it's not as serious as I interpreted it to be at the beginning.
These two guys have been there before.
Waiting to start the kickoff of extra time. Brazil and Mexico, goalless after 90 minutes in the first Olympic semifinal. Brazil made a substitution. Malcolm on for Anthony. Anthony worked tremendously hard today for Brazil. Has nothing statistically to show for it, but gave it all for 90 minutes today for Brazil. Outside of Richarlison, they've changed out their attacking options. Gabriel Martinelli came in for Paulinho. Malcolm now in for Anthony. Akhir in for Claudinho, playing that number 10 spot. Headers ping back and forth between Nino and Jesus Angulo.
We've got 3 players with fresh legs underneath Richarlison to bring a little bit more speed and drive to that attack that's got blunted a little bit, certainly in the second half of normal time. Didn't look quite as dangerous, didn't look quite as cutting as we saw.
Well, you could see it and you could hear it, the challenge that Henry Martin absorbed.
He's a beast of a man, isn't he, Diego Carlos? 28 years of age, plays at Sevilla.
Spent some time at Nantes in France before that. Has played every minute of the games. The first one of them now for Brazil to go into extra time. Flag comes up from the assistant referee. And now Johan Vasquez is the player down for Mexico.
Yeah, he was offside, but I think more of a worry is that when he went in for that challenge, contact seems to be holding the back of his leg.
Situation is thin on the back line for Mexico. Akhir is out due to injury, sustained in the second game against Japan. Jorge Sanchez is out on yellow card accumulation. Mexico do have one other center back dressed today, Adrian Mora from Toluca. 23-year-old who did play one game in the group stage as a substitute. Charging forward, Douglas Luiz. Bruno Guimaraes, his midfield partner, receives that square ball from Luiz. Now Richarlison. Akhir, closed down by Vasquez. Malcolm lifts it in front. Oh, Richarlison was close, but Montes heads it away. Diego Lainez, 94th minute of the game. Charlie Rodriguez, long, hopeful ball, looking for Ricardo Angulo. He does find him after a touch by Dani Alves. Now Piojo Alvarado with the shots and blocked by Nino. Angulo. Jesus Angulo.
Starting to give away a little bit more possession, Brazil, and not often we see this. Defending that 18-yard box.
And Lainez has to go, and Martinelli. He crosses for Henry Martin.
He's not had an awful lot to feed off Henry Martin. 1 or 2 crosses into the box.
More changes coming. The defender I noted a moment ago, Adrian Mora, is about to go in. And if you're a believer in fate, maybe setting the table for something, Eduardo Aguirre coming in on his 23rd birthday. The striker for Mexico. Now, wouldn't that be a birthday present?
Say, you trying to tell me something there?
Aguirre has scored twice in the tournament, but he just scored as a sub coming on late in games that were done and dusted. He'll be coming in here momentarily in an extremely more critical situation. Mexico has 17 players with senior national team caps. One of the 5 who do not is Adrian Mora getting ready to come in. You can see he was talking to Jaime Lozano, maybe some last-minute instructions. Big moment for a young player. Douglas Luiz, Guimarães. Guimarães got inside of Charlie Rodriguez, still going. Handier trying to put it into the box. Richarlison was close by. This will deflect back to Memo Ochoa. Handier, the player whom you just saw, is on loan from Real Madrid last year and this upcoming season to Borussia Dortmund. Ochoa, the 2-time World Cup goalkeeper, 4 rosters in World Cups, played in 2 of them. Restarts play. Mexico in their attacking half, brought down by Ricardo Angulo. Alvarado. Alvarado still going. Looking to play it to Martin. Diego Carlos, who fouled Henry Martin a little bit earlier in extra time. It goes the other way this time. Martin fouling the big center back.
Yeah, he was looking for the center back. He got a good position. Those changes for Mexico.
Adrian Mora will go in on the back line. Jesus Angulo, 23-year-old from Culiacan. Atlas player subs out. And here comes Mora. And it does look like it will be Eduardo Aguirre for Henry Martin. Martin had scored 3 goals across the last 2 games. 1 at the end of the group stage against South Africa. A brace against South Korea, when Mexico put on a clinical performance against South Korea.
Yeah, he's done a good job, Martin. Battling away against the 2 big centre-backs, Nino and Diego Carlos. Trying to hold balls up, won a couple of decent headers in the box. Be disappointed he didn't hit the target and work the goalkeeper a little more.
Brazil right now. Handier pushed it out to the left, cross from Guilherme Arana. Away by Vladimir Laronia. Eduardo Aguirre, the new striker. Down he goes. 99th minute. I read a quote from Jaime Lozano between games, Robbie, when he was asked about Aguirre being out, Eric Aguirre, and about the fact that Sanchez was suspended, and he said it's not about an 11, it's about 22. And we're seeing that, how far these coaches are going down the roster in terms of subs.
And you've got to trust the depth within your squad, give people the opportunity, and how many times have we seen subs either score goals or make goals, affect the game?
Richarlison was looking for Martinelli. Pinged around and got close to falling for Martinelli. But pass back to Ochoa. We don't see him often, but Santos is the goalkeeper for Brazil. Brazil opting to do the same thing that they did in 2016, pick an overage player who had not been capped at the national team level. Weverton was the goalkeeper for Brazil 5 years ago in Rio. And now it's Santos, 31-year-old player from Atlético Paranaense.
It's a little bit like Vasquez has moved out to that left back slot. Mora's gone as a central defender now. Little change of personnel at the back for Mexico. it'll be Mora and Montes, the two centre-backs. Vasquez now is a left-sided player.
If you're just tuning in, the best chance to score came for Brazil late in the game. 82nd minute, Richarlison, a header off a Dani Alves cross, went off the inside of the post and did not bounce in. So very close. So one of the players you see in this replay right now probably had the best chance to score for Mexico on a shot attempt late in the first half.
Although the Antuna one was a good chance as well, Mark.
Yep.
Diego Carlos came across and read the danger. I mean, not started the game well. Mexico finished the first half with two really good opportunities.
Malcolm for Brazil. Not far away from the end of the first half of extra time to 15-minute halves. And a level score line after 120 minutes means penalties. Almost dropped for Martinelli. Lainez pushes it forward. Guimaraes defending. Lainez lays it on back to Ricardo Angulo. Now from outside the box, Luis Romo.
Yeah, difficult ball to hit. It's coming straight at him and bouncing at some pace. Really hard to control it. Lainez does well to get wide and then picks out a teammate. You can see as the ball's laid back here.
On the restart by Santos. Romo on the first ball. Alvarado lifts it in the direction of Eduardo Aguirre. Good foot put in by Nino. Johan Vasquez now has drifted out to left back, as Robbie noted. Couldn't reach that ball. Malcolm came on as a second half, or a beginning of extra time sub, that is.
Isso aí mexe com a cabeça do jogador também, né, Henrique?
Eu acho que também passa pelo mau momento do Inter.
In Mexico, still goalless.
So, if you have a flat tyre, dead battery, need a tow, or lock your keys in the car, Geico's emergency roadside assistance is there 24/7. Oh dear, I've got a flat tyre. Yeah, can you find a take where it's a bit more dramatic on that last line, yeah?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Someone help me! I have a flat tyre! Oh, it's good for me. What do you think?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Forget everything you know about sport. Tomorrow, we will get to define what sport is. And apparently tomorrow, that means running in an arena with hobby horses and jumping over hurdles. I want to know what this is. It looks fun. Tomorrow, this is a sport. And you know it is.
The second half of extra time between Brazil and Mexico in their semifinal about to kick off. What are those minutes like between the halves of extra time for these players?
Tiresome. First of all, you've got to get your breath. You try and get a little bit of liquid in. Often your coach is talking, not too much is going in. To be honest, you're starting to focus on that second half of this period and finding your way through. And I always used to hope that we had one chance, and one of my forwards was in the right place at the right time. We create one good opportunity, and we've got to try and take it.
Well, the question is, who will have that best opportunity? Second half of extra time kicks off. Give it away quickly by Mexico. Akhir. Martinelli. Now Guillermo Arana looking for Richarlison. And now Cesar Montes. There have been a couple of goalless draws go to penalty kicks in the knockout stages of the games. As a matter of fact, in the quarterfinals on the women's side, Brazil and Canada did that, with Canada advancing on penalties. Men's side in the quarterfinals, Japan and New Zealand played a scoreless 120 minutes, and Japan advanced on penalties. Lainez defending, Guillermo Arana crosses, headed back by Vladimir Laronia. Corner kick time for Brazil.
See one or two of the players breathing heavy. A little toil.
Arana's corner kick. Strong header out by Montes for Mexico. And Richarlison looks exhausted right now. Understandably so. It's been a long summer.
All the football he's played, and then nothing leads that line as a lone striker. Running from left side to right side, linking in the play. Taking chances, making chances.
Booted away by Santos, the Brazilian keeper. Heavy touch by Romo. Adrian Moore reacted quickly to Akhir.
Yeah, I think that's a good call by the referee. Akhir was heading forward. Moore came in and just took him for that kick take. Because if we get to that stage.
And that's very much in the conversation right now with 12 minutes of extra time and a skosh of stoppage time added at the end. The 38-year-old died.
Frustrated with himself. It was a long way out. Almost have to be something special to be Ochoa from that distance as he's trying to get up and down off the end of his toe. Maybe a little bit of knuckle on the ball. It wasn't to be. Talked about Eduardo Aguirre on his birthday.
Going to write a script. Yeah. Those would be the choices at this stage.
If we're in Hollywood and we're writing a finish to this. Dani Alves in the last minute from 25 yards.
Big collision between Douglas Luiz and Luis Romo.
Well, Mexico feel that there's an elbow there. As Arno saying. The arms naturally go up and there's a mechanism in terms of jumping and protecting yourself. Doesn't look to me as though he challenged.
That is 9 yellow cards today shown by Bulgarian off. Mexico's electional team at the Gold Cup. They certainly hope that's not the case now after surrendering a 118th goal to the by Bruno Guimaraes. 10 minutes left to avoid PKs.
Say that one, he just passes that one a little bit ahead. Menier, but those two have done a good job in front of that back team.
Antuna Vega. Now it's in the hands of Mexico have used all 6 of their substitutions. Brazil have used 3. Obviously, concussion protocol could lead to another sub for Mexico if that were to come into play.
It was interesting, one of the coaches, whether they're thinking about getting 1 or 2 players on who might be good penalty kick takers. Again, one thing with this referee is he has a good look at it. He gets himself in good spots. And again, I don't think there's quite enough. It looks like Linus is already on his way over. See there's no contact. He gets caught actually by the boot of a defender, but here, there's no contact there. He falls over the ball almost. I guess a slight kick to the side of his head. I think caught him more than anything. But I do like this referee. Positionally, he gets himself in really good spot so he can see the challenges. And then he makes his decisions. More often than not, they've been right.
He got helped out by VAR on the one that was wrong. There is going to be a player coming on for Brazil. Mateus Henrique. He actually does have 1 senior national team cap and a friendly against Senegal in 2019. You know, a moment ago you were saying that Brazil might bring players on for penalty kicks, and of course one of the lessons of the summer is bring those players on.
A little bit of, yes. Give them a little bit of match time to get up to speed, to get their focus in the right place. Sure, to England's cost, Gareth Southgate made 3 late substitutes.
Stab forward by Nino. Ricardo Angulo now for Mexico. And the Liguilla playoffs at the end of the ending a 23-year championship drought. Mateus Henrique will come on. He started the 1 game that Douglas Luiz had to sit because of a red card in the group stage. So a like-for-like change in the 115th minute of the game.
I just wondered as well with that yellow card Douglas Luiz was on and maybe 1 or 2 challenges going in, whether the coach just protecting him a little bit as well.
Off the free kick, ball into the box. Aguirre went outside to Vasquez. Vasquez defended nicely by Malcolm. 5 minutes away, or thereabouts, depending.
I think with sort of 5-6 minutes on the clock, there's probably a half chance somewhere. It's going to happen. You have to make sure you're prepared if that is the case.
The lively Martinelli on the left-hand side. Laronia and Charlie Rodriguez defend him. The Arsenal player. Mateus Henrique, it's his first touch of the ball. Good foot put in by Linus against Guilherme Arana. Henrique again. Guimaraes. 4 minutes remaining. The tension builds. Still weaving his way through. Mateus Henrique looking for Richarlison.
He's out on his feet, and Richarlison, he made the run. There was no real speed, and the ball was far too long. Too much pace on the ball.
Minute of the game. Richarlison hit the post on a header off a cross of Dani Alves. The inside of the post. The ball bounced back across just a few inches outside the goal line. That's how close it was to Brazil scoring in normal time and avoiding this 30 minutes of tension and what awaits.
Mexican player, I'm starting to think about those things that, you know, penalty kick that could have gone against us hasn't. The header against the post doesn't go in when it could do. Now we got to PKs. If we get there, maybe it's our turn. We've got to make the most of these situations. We were talking after 20 minutes of this game in the first half. Brazil were dominating possession, passing the ball with real speed and intensity, and really working this Mexican team. I think they take 0-0 right now, going into the latter stages of extra time.
Coming centrally, Martinelli. De Guimarães. Ricardo Angulo comes back trying to win the ball. Foul Brazil.
It's getting a bit tetchy out there. Players all having their say and want to get involved. A little bit naughty from Guimarães there. He knew what he was doing.
Inside of the last 2 minutes and whatever stoppage time, you start to think about the goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Recently, Memo Ochoa was in a penalty shootout for Mexico in the CONCACAF Nations League semifinal against Costa Rica. Was also in a penalty shootout against Costa Rica in the 2019 Gold Cup. In both cases, Ochoa and Mexico advanced. And in the end, it was Ochoa who made saves to secure that advancement. Santos is a player who hasn't appeared for the national team before.
Yeah, Ochoa just gives you that little bit of belief and confidence that he'll get one.
In a semifinal match where penalties looking very, very likely. Daniel. Maybe the moment's coming for Brazil. Malcolm got it back on the 1-2, right in front. Alvarado trying to clear it. Also Charlie Rodriguez. Back in from Dani Alves. And there's a foul in the box on Heinier on the left-hand side. Richarlison was a target as well. You said you were hoping for a chance. If you're a player, you're hoping for one of those chances in this last half of extra time. That was one of the best for Brazil.
Yeah, it was good play from Malcolm, actually, on this near side. This time he give and go, and that's a lot. Players go to the ground.
Well, there was
fatigue.
Yeah, there was an indication for 1 minute of stoppage time. But the referee just blew the whistle, and that's it. 120 minutes. No goals scored. Mexico and Brazil go to penalties coming up next for a chance to play for the gold medal in the Tokyo Games.